Hmm. Mystery. Oh, forgot to pop out the chat. No wonder I couldn't see anyone. Alright, now I can see you. Hey, John, ITC, Andrew, hello Teresa, and Pedro, Daniel, Lexi's here. Alrighty, I have got a crap ton of work to get done, and I am not feeling like it whatsoever. I feel like a bit crap today. Just that sort of usual bullshit flu-y crap that you get that doesn't quite drag you all the way down into bed, but it does its best. And what am I looking for? So yeah, expect more than the usual amount of idiocracy as I try to fix machines through the fog. And I've got a bit of liquid crap up here, just sort of a sludgy, slimy stuff. Anyway, they say only pulls 40 milliamp, disconnected battery and same result. The question is, was it 20 volts or was it 5 volts? 5 volts, 40 milliamp. We're not going anywhere, so we've probably got a short on the 5 volt input side, perhaps on this side here. I'm just going to take it out. Not much else I can do at this point, just take it out and get it done. Does John get a prize for being first? I don't know. Oh man, what a bad start already. This snake cable is snared onto the underside of that. Let's see, we've got any tears in it? Well, if the battery doesn't work when we fire it up, we know why, because that little snaking cable got caught on the underside of the battery protection sticker and decided to ruin my day already. You're probably wondering, do I really just only do MacBook repairs at night? And the answer is, for the most part, yes. Because during the day I'm dealing with accounting, business, chasing up courier packages that don't arrive, ordering parts, dealing with PC jobs, just lots and lots of stuff. And I don't even intend to only do repairs at night, but it seems to go that way. Oh, the other thing, of course, is packing up jobs, taking jobs that are packed up down to the post office. So by the time that's all done and you have your coffee breaks and just riff-raff random stuff, yeah, it's nighttime, and that's when you get to start doing board repairs. Hey Jason, good to see you there. So let's get this one out. What is this, 1706 or something? Oh, I realise I haven't got any data up on display. I've just gone and put things in the wrong place. There we go, that's better. Livrey art. Ah, yep. Naturally that pulls off. So what is this? 1706, isn't it? Yeah, 1706. Yep. I'll just bring up the data. I haven't scanned the data in yet. Beep. And show the data. Right. It doesn't say 1706 up there, but you just have to believe me, it's a 1706. I don't know which one it, what the these little stickers are just coming right off. Yep. Not sure which one it is, Pedro. We'll find out shortly. It looks like one, 239. Hey, crafts. There's also a lot of time taken up during the day. Oh my god, yeah, every single one of those pull tags is just coming out. Um, yeah, just packaging up stuff takes a considerable amount of time because it's not just packing it. You've also got to verify all your paperwork. You then have to take photos of all the steps of your packing and make verifying, showing that it in fact was working prior to you putting it in the box. There's a fair number of steps, and then packing itself does take a bit of time if you want to do it properly, as opposed to just chuck it in a bag and hope for the best, which is always a guaranteed way of getting Australia Post very excited. Why do they put the number on the back of these? Well, I suppose they didn't want to sully up the front of them, so the back seems like an appropriate place. I'd prefer it at the back than on the front. Are you good at packing? I am pretty good at packing, but I find it oh man, great. There's a standoff, and occasionally the standoff, the standoff loosens before the screw in the standoff loosens. Anyway, I'll have to tighten that one back up. Alright, and I'm just walking away from that one, Jason. I'm walking away from that. Thank you very much. Someone being on the sake. Hey Keith, good evening. So at the end of the day, I really don't get a lot of time to do things even for myself. I mean, I get frequent emails messages inquiring as to why I haven't been able to go visit certain people that sort of a social standard you're supposed to visit and things like that. And it's just like, I'm just so flat out busy. So I don't even really get to see my wife. And if I'm going to spend time seeing someone, then you can be damn well sure it's going to be my wife before I see anyone else. Now, I know she lives here with me, but being in the same household and passing each other during the day and having dinner and just bits and pieces, it's not the same as actually spending time with your partner. How's the TV headphones? They are working very well, nicely. Oh man, cannot speak. They are working out very nicely, thank you. The Toslink converter to the RCA outputs did the job very well. It also does have a headphone 3.5-inch adapter, but I don't use that with my Sennheiser RS122s. Captain tape, yes, but oh wait, you mean for packing? No, I just use good old clear packing tape. You know what I use, I've sent you packages. Still coding. Yes, I do code. I do a bit here and there. I do have a large amount of code I need to get done very shortly. Yeah, I'm going to say we've got a short over here, which funnily enough is the opposite side that I thought it was going to be. Pretty sure I can see it, and there is a bit of damage over here. This is fairly typical for this model. And we have a 239. Yep. Hey Harold, good evening to you. I'm just going to update the information. Yeah, Jason, I think it's just my stuffy head, lack of sleep, and all the rest of that crap that makes me a little bit incapable at the moment. So I apologize. Most of the time I don't get to look much at people's packages. I just open up the boxes and dump out the contents onto the floor, let the cats run all over it, stomp on it a few times, and then I put stickers on it to make it look like I'm a professional. 1252. I'm a professional. I didn't exactly say what I'm a professional of. 820-00239. Stop apologising for being human. That's unacceptable. I would actually love to organise to get myself some proper boxes made up. Jason, do you know the ones that we get for things like screens from places like Broadway Computers? Those double-walled, very nice solid boxes. I want to get some of those made specifically for MacBooks, but I've got to order about 500 of them at a time. But I'm thinking it's about that point now. Yeah, if I can pick them up for $1.50 a box or something like that, then it's probably high time I did that. Because I waste so much time dealing with the other boxes and manufacturing adjustments for them. We've got corrosion there. Okay, it's dusty, but it's not actually conclusively faulty. You can get them through Caleb at Broadway and Oh, okay. I did ask Caleb before and I didn't get a response from him, so I figured he was thinking, nah, stuff that, mate. We went through the trouble of getting our own boxes. You can get your own. And so I've been all over AliExpress and Alibaba trying to get people to give me that same style of construction, the double-walled style. I'll give them all the specs, and unfortunately they just sort of respond back in a completely like, we don't know what you're talking about. And what? You guys manufacture the boxes, right? But they're probably just resellers of the box manufacturer. Okay, I'm going to have to brush this down and find out what's going on, because I can't see a corroded cap. Maybe just like, yeah, he probably does just like you, Jason. I mean, he's been good to me over the years, because we've been using them now for over a decade for sure. Actually, I had to call up Toll Transport Townsville today and complain to them and say, look, I know you guys get my packages on time and you can deliver them out to me, but your driver sucks. And I'm sick of your driver, and I'm sick of having to drive down to the local depot to get my packages that are supposed to be delivered to me. This is about the 4th or 5th time now I've lodged a complaint. And so I gave him the number for tomorrow's shipment out of Broadway, and hopefully they will actually come good and deliver. Hey Jim. Alright, so what we're looking for at the moment is a something shorted. Now, given the amount of dust and stuff, I was anticipating a corroded short, but I'm not seeing it yet. So our GPU and CPU VREG section is clear, so that's always a happy day. And we do have underfilled CD3215s, which is cause for some interest. On the upside, as it typically means that they're not going to be themselves damaged. So yeah, you got to see it from the positive side if you can. Most people sort of see underfilled parts and go, oh no. But on the upside, the chance of them being faulty is rather reduced. But yeah, this one's got me going. Alright. Interesting. It could be my ISL. Yeah. We have one good driver here from Toll, the other is crap. Cards without attempt. Oh, that is terrible. But worst Australia Post. Oh, you're finding them again. Yeah. It really, so much of the image of a given company comes down to their local staff. Like, we have a pretty good going with Australia Post. Star Trackers now on our bad books because they no longer are using the local delivery agent that was handling Star Trek. Instead, they've sort of folded it into Australia Post deliveries, which means now I basically only get Express Post speeds instead of Star Trek speeds, and not happy about that. Alright, I'm fairly convinced I can't see a shorted cap. What's this? Pay for express to Japan and they send it slow freight without the express date. Oh, hell yeah. I've quite a few companies doing similar sort of tricks. It's like, I know that you did not send that. Oh, no, we sent that. No, express or whatever. And it's like, the label itself indicates that you didn't. Hey, B-Dog. Australia Postage, they charge. Express International, but send it standard. Yeah, and even when you track it down, they're just like... Okay, so fuse is all jolly good. Beeping bus is not shorted. So I'm fairly sure we got a short somewhere. Oh, that's just a cap charge. I'm just going to do some rando stuff. Okay, that's just checking that fuse is good. I've pretty much given up sending international stuff with Australia Post. You pay an absolute fortune for it and it takes forever, as you know. And when you do, it just sits there at some depot for a week or so, and you're like, why hasn't that moved? And like, oh, sir, we're sorry, it's COVID, whatever. And it's like, it's not COVID, it's just you guys aren't moving stuff. You're just, yeah, jerks. Getting to the point I might have to bring out the gym cam because I'm too lazy to go through and check every rail. Backlight. All good. All good. It's either ISL or it's a short. Or at least I'm hoping. There's a bit of grunge around the TPS, but it's nothing severe. Strikes were a big... yeah. So long as I can get tracking, I'm pretty much okay. But I've noticed a lot of companies now are masking out certain tracking information because they know that people are following them. And they're like, we don't want you to see that nothing is happening with your package, so we're going to just block that from your view. And you know they do have access to that information because when you call it in to get an update on the package, they have that extra information. And you're like, how do you have that information but you're not putting it up on your tracking? Roughly. I mean, you think about the number of heart attacks, stress, anxiety issues that courier companies cause because they just ruin your schedules and everything like that. Okay. I have a new workbench on toll tomorrow. Ah. Like a big sort of package. Alright, so here we go. Goddamn stupid stupid windowing thing on Ubuntu. This one, it doesn't let me shift things around how I want. Alright, so I can see that this here is warming up, but that's normal. We do have a little bit of activity over here. Nothing screaming at us. That's just reflection. Pretty much anything that looks bright on anything that looks bright on metal surfaces, or anything even remotely silver, will be a reflection. What I'm really looking for is something that just periodically pops out. Hey Paul, how's it going? Dun, 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 dun. This may not be a pulsar, maybe something. It could legitimately just be a case of something not. Wait, no, we have activity over here. Now, I don't know whether it's reflection because that chip is a shiny chip. So we move it. Okay, the way you can find out for sure is you disconnect it. And nothing. Yeah, it's disconnected at the moment, so that must be just a shiny spot. Well, this is going to be a tricky one, so I'm going to have to use my brains. Alexi's voting the ISL. Yeah, I'm sort of kind of with you on that one. And now the camera has decided to choke up. That is why I do not. Okay, that's just an offset, I'm pretty sure. Well, the ISL area is remaining warm, even though I am basically going through an entire rotation there. Alright, let's inspect that then. Doesn't mean that the ISL is at fault, but it may lead us towards what is at fault. And it's not very warm, whatever it is. It's just barely registering anything. Usually on this model, I do anticipate it to be corrosion on the caps by the CD3215s, but it doesn't appear to be the case today. Yeah, nothing really exciting happening there. It's actually quite hard to tell though with the ISL. But I think at this point it's going to be the easiest first test attempt. I can't personally see anything obscure happening here. We'll measure the resistances across a couple of things. Let's open line, seriously? Okay, 247, that's more like it. I was going to say, it's kind of weird that they'd be open. And 2, so 2 and 2. Current sense resistors seem to be fine. So yeah, let's swap that ISL out. At least we can actually do this now. Like when these things first came out, it was, well, if you got to this point, you're like, well, let's see, $100 ISL or keep checking the board. There was a little bug under there. I doubt that was actually involved in anything. Hello, Oslin. Is the cap on the top left cracked? It's just a hair. Yeah. Hey, Pro Engineer. Just going to give it some assistive heat here. There's a few dragged pads. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to hot air this one. As in hot air wick. When we say ISL, we're usually referring to the chip that generates some key voltages for the startup. Because there are actually a few ISLs in terms of the actual... I got one. Yeah, stuff it. But yeah, we're usually talking about a U7000 type chip, which gives us our 3v3 and not our 3v3, our PP bus. And so if that's not functioning, we don't get PP bus, which means we don't get much else. I really should have checked to see if we had 3v3, but too late now. Jump the gun. Yeah, Jason, that actually is appetizing in thought. That's a pretty clean one, actually. Now, the only trouble here is I have naturally forgotten which way this goes. So I'll have to load up my 239 board view. Look for the ISL. Look for the ISL pull. Hello, there we go. Alright, so pin 1's to the outer perimeter. Cool. Which is actually how I have it. Gotta be careful with these chips. They do love to chip. I know it sounds silly, but Well, because they've got no epoxy plastic type around them, it makes them very easy to be damaged by tweezers and stuff. The good thing about these kind of chips, though, and this is important, is that they don't require, because they're not encapsulated, they're not using up, the epoxy plastic and stuff like that. Honestly, I don't know if that's free float or not. Yeah, that has. Oh yeah, I always speak very highly of Pedro. Wait for that to cool down. Yeah, because the amount of material that we require to encapsulate so many of the things that we use in electronics, like this black epoxy encapsulation for almost everything, that really does add up. There's a huge amount of it needed. So moving to these glass chips, as we call them, or I call them, it helps cut down on that, which is a good thing. I'm just waiting for it to cool off. I could put it into the extractor, but nope. I already turned it off, so we're just going to have to wait. It's probably close enough now. And if it's not, we'll just wait. Five. Damn. Yeah, we've still got 40 milliamp. This is interesting. I'm going to have to find out what's going on now. Do we have a damaged... Yeah. Let's see if any of the 3215s behave differently. So it wasn't the ISL. Mr. 7-digit. It's actually not too bad. In many ways, it's quite a lot better than standard PC equipment. Or other things. Like I've got a Microsoft Surface 6 Pro in here. And yeah, I'd much rather be working on Apple gear. Not because I am buying into the whole Apple Kool-Aid, but it's just a interesting case that in spite of being the most walled garden type computers, they have the most sort of information available for them. So it's kind of a interesting win in spite of Apple not wanting us to have that kind of win. Let's see. I have one of them stuck 42 milliamp, took heatsink off, and it has a hole in the CPU. Oh, don't tell me that. Was that at 20 volts or 5 volts? And it's not in DFU mode because it's not getting to 20 volts. And it should get something. Hey JCT, good to see you. Where you been lately? Yeah, 20. It says this is 5 volts, 40 milliamp. So it's proving to be a little more interesting. What am I missing, other than a brain? Oh dear. Okay. Time to get serious. So we're gonna screw that in so that it doesn't flop off. It's very frustrating when you're turning the board over and it just drops right off. Just realised the alarm will go off in about 3 minutes as I have to deal with micro. Sat at 5 volts for a few minutes, then went to 20. Oh, now you get... Well, we'll do that test when I go deal with micro. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is go through the CD3215 test type sequence. I'm not sure if I have it on my 239 board view. Let's see, notes and solutions. I do, haha. Okay, that makes it easy for me. So basically I've got my 4 CD3215s here, and I can just do stuff like that, and it will direct me to where I've got to test. So we actually want 3100, I think. Yeah, that's not where we are. No, I was actually right the first time, I think. What chippy chip are you? Oh, you're UB300, so I was right. I just noticed we've got no voltage there. What happened? I got no voltage at all. What happened? That's very weird. Do I have it on this side? No. No. All of a sudden I've got nothing. That's unusual. Oh, no one can see my shock. Nah. Alright. Okay, stop. Thank you. No, look at that. Nada. Alright. I'll go deal with micro, and I'll be back. If it was the Thunderbolt ROM, I'd still expect it to come up. Anyway. Just opening up the window to get a little bit of fresh air and created a bit of a squeak. Alright. Hey there, Greg. Evening to you. Alright. Well, it's just rather peculiar that we have gone from at least getting 5 volts to now we've got absolutely SFA. Oh wow. Oh my god. Come on, Paul. That was almost a disaster. Alright, looks like we're gonna have to slow mode things now. Completely dead too. Okay, I'm just gonna use another. I've got a couple of USB-C bricks here, so I'm gonna use the other one. Alright, whatever happened, it looks like it shut down the other brick. That or there's some junk in the other brick. Yeah, I've changed to the second brick and it's working fine there. It's a little bit peculiar. Yeah, the amp meter seems to be fine. Okay, put that aside so I don't spill everything. Let's just try this again. Alright, so that's fine. Okay, so we're back to where we were. And I have now probably So we actually have changed to the other side. We're going to be looking at U3100. So we're going to quad mode. Yeah, there's a chunk missing there, I'm sorry. Some of us don't want to be on display 24/7 at this point. Voltage. Hey Vic Young. Hope you're well. Hey Mark. Okay, actually do we have 5 volts there? Okay, so we are on the right one. Good. And I see it switched into... Oh fine, you people complain too much. Okay. Wink. Bunch of whiners. Okay, so we've checked that, and now we need to check that cap. See what we've got, and I just realised I still haven't fixed up the certain fault. So 3.28, yeah, that's okay. .8 on that little fella. Oh, far out. 1.78, slightly sagged, but it's okay. 1.8 on that little fella. We do. I'm probably not going to have 1.1. What's the bet? Yeah, we don't have our 1.1. Crud. Alright. So, I mean, it could be Thunderbolt ROM, that's this thing here. Just interesting. So that's for that ROM handles both of those chips. I don't know, I'm just not feeling it though. Sometimes you get a feel for this sort of stuff, and I probably don't have it. Oh, for goodness sake. The question is, which one is actually faulty, because it's presenting on both sides. So that's we'll check the other side, see if we get 1.1 on the other pair. If we get 1.1 on this side, then we know it's the Thunderbolt ROM on this side. If we don't get 1.1 on that side, we either have a different fault or we have two Thunderbolt chips, ROMs that are full of issues. No. Now, one of these days I need to get a sacrificial board, because I need to test the idea that you can take the input side, fuse input side for each of these chips, and you can short it to ground, and it will remove it from the chain of CD32s without, and it will let the other ones boot up, work properly. I don't know if that theory is going to work or not, but it's probably something I should try on something like a 1708 board. Richard Bell, your stuff's been stolen? What stuff? Okay, the cap I want to test 1.1 is just down there. Although I could easily just instead use the test point over here. That's why we have test points. Yeah. It's a practice worth getting into. If you have the option to use a test point, use a test point. Don't stick the probe on the part. Use the test point. Like that one there. And we also don't have 1.1 on that. Great. So now I don't really know what I'm dealing with. Fantastic. Did I have it plugged into the right one? You're a dimwit, Mr. Daniels. It could well have been a case if it was not the right one. So we've got 5 volts. And that was not the one that I had plugged in the last time, so we should have 5 volts now. Yep. And we've probably got some sort of voltages here. Yep, 3.2, maybe here. Maybe here. Nothing on that. Nothing on that one there. Okay, we'll have to see what that is. Nothing there. Nothing there. Okay, 5.196. Oh shit, there's... Okay, interesting. We don't have voltage going to there. That's a problem. So we do not have this PP3V3. Well, I wonder where that comes from. Didn't someone mention about 3v3? Let's see. 3v3 UPC TA LDO. Alright, so I need to find out where that is. I love that they have the aliases and they all seem to be the same, but it's kind of curious because you can see there's a variation in the alignment of the font by like one space, so it's like they've got double space or something there, who knows. Okay, UB300. Okay, so UB300 is generating that. Is that shorted to ground? Microdrits. Yeah, I kind of wonder whether they intentionally have a space there, or I don't know. Maybe it's all. Well, that's definitely not shorted. That is, because that's one side of, and that's ground, so that's okay. My brain does not comprehend. Hey, 555. Good to see you. Just sitting here, losing my brain. This is dangerously one of those points where you should maybe consider. Okay, it's all that UPCTA or whatever. That should be generated by UB300, which is actually on the other side, because this is UB400 and we want UB300. So maybe, yes, wait, maybe I didn't look close enough. Oh, that's a smidge of gnarliness. Yeah, I'm kind of going mad a little. Not short. But what about this one that hides under here? Not short. Not short. There's a bit of... Oh. Looks like alien blood landed on that one. Oh my goodness. Not short. I'm gonna have to check see what that voltage is. Yeah, there's a bit of junk and corrosion. This is the classic point where you usually get corrosion. You probably remember a few videos where I've had to carve out this stuff to get access. There's definitely something there, but is it actually what we're after? Let's see, am I in voltage mode? Yes. Another nix. Another nix. Oh wait, I've got a bit of check to see I'm actually on the right one. 5195. 5195, so the fuse is fine. Three v three. Okay, so we actually have a 3v3 G3 hot issue, I think. And I'll tell you what's funny is that who the hell generates that? It's not my ISL that generates, is it? Is it? Is it? Is it? I feel so stupid right now. 3v3, what? Because basically it's the equivalent to 3v42. Now the ISL certainly uses it. The question is, does it generate it? I forget. 6903, that's the one. Thank you, good sir. I actually owe you for that. Right, okay, yeah, that's by J1800, which is, yeah, by the big fat rams down around here somewhere. Where's that fat? There we go. I don't know why I always forget that it's 6903. Hard to feel, yeah, hard to remember when you're feeling, yeah, I wish I could blame it on that, Pedro, but honestly, I don't know. I can't really blame it on that. I wish I could, but I genuinely cannot. Yeah, we don't have 3v3. Okay. So do we have the input for it though? Supply. So we'll go 6902 and see if, oh, fire truck's sake. Oh, all of a sudden wait. Okay, no supply there, but there should be on here. Okay, so we've got 5 volts coming into the diode. Oh, we've only got 67 milliamps coming out. Alright, so either we have a short in here somewhere. So finally we're actually getting somewhere. We either have a short on the other side. Let's see, continuity, alsjeblieft, danke. Hey, we found it, 2.5. J6250. SMC usually controls the fans, I think, but it depends on the board. Right. Alright, so we got a short there somewhere. The question is, where is the short? At least, yeah, it gives us a fighting chance now. We'll take the inductor off and find out which side it's on. Oh wait, no, that just feeds us straight back in. Okay, we'll take the chip off. Chip off time. Too much overworking. It could be that, it could be that my sleep is just not crash hot. I am working on it. I am getting better sleep these days, but there's a lot of catching up to do. If you remember at the start of the stream, I did say to myself I should have checked 3v3. You think I did it? No. Of course not, that'd be stupid. Alright, so we actually do have a short, so it's got to be probably that cap. Wait, there's basically nothing. Ooh, that's scary. Okay, let's bring up the schematic and board view and show you what I'm looking at. So we've taken this chip out, and we still have a short on this line here. So it's either 6905 or 6906. It's a 50-50. So 6905, where art thou? 6906. Okay, so that's 6. And I don't seem to have 6905. At least it doesn't seem to be on the board view. Alright, so that basically just means that cap there. What is that cap? That's 6910. And that's the bias cap, so yeah. Alright, so it's 6906 only. I don't know where 6905 is because it's not showing up. So let's remove that cap and see what happens. If this is this cap, I would have to say this is the first time ever that I've had the 3v3 section fail like this. Well, let's just go straight to checking. No, we've still got a short. So that cap's fine. So where's this other cap? Oh, sorry folks, I just realised. Oh well, anyway, we still shorted out when we measured this. Well, let's see. Oh, okay, U7000 can still be at fault. Oh, here's 6905. It's on the other freaking side of the board. Right. I really need to have a word with the developer of this software, because he clearly doesn't do his damn job properly. We're going to put this cap back on. Oh, gee. Now I'm in trouble. I bet you this is Jason showing me where the cap... Yep. Too late, Jason. I found it on my own. Like a blind man in a maze. I don't know why it wasn't showing up, but I'll have to investigate that. Yet more things for me to fix. Yet more things for Lewis to mock me about. Oh, Christos? Yeah, Jason, lag is a killer. You're pretty close. You're pretty quick on that, though. I gotta give you that. I mean, you had to bring it up, search it, send it. That's pretty quick going. Yeah, where are we? So it's this little beastie then. Like I said, it could still be the ISL because it does go into the ISL. But we'll try the caps first. Yeah, maybe... Yeah, I don't know. No, it's a hair on the bottom, don't get excited. No, we're still shorted there, so it's not that. Must be the ISL. Maybe I installed it wrong, maybe I tapped it and it merged. God damn it. Where'd you fly away to, little cap? Where are you, little cap? Damn it. Where did that cap go? Oh well, it's a 2.2. We'll just have to live without it. It's just hard to believe it'd be the ISL. Yeah, voltage injection is looking tempting, isn't it? Because there's basically very little on the board. Let's go to schematic. So this is what we have. So we have our short here. Well, this is where it comes in. Oh, here we go. We didn't see this here. 7081. We've got another contender. 7081. Get back here. Oh, you little mongrel. Down in there. This little thing. I'm gonna actually pickle the ends of that because it's the lowest part in the surrounding area. It means it's gonna have a hard time getting the heat that it needs. So why not U69? Well, because I've already removed it. It's gone. It's off the board. I feel like I need to. Yeah, we'll just shove it to the side there. Okay. Try the bottom one side. There. What the hell? That should be beeping constantly because that's supposed to be ground. Ah, no, it's this one here. This is the one. I removed the wrong damn cap. Idiots. Wrong cap. I was going to say, that was really weird. To be honest, I thought maybe, okay, the board view had the part upside down. Occasionally that does happen. Something you gotta... Yeah, there we go. That's it. That's the winner. Look at that crack. That's the winner. And we no longer have a short. Huzzah! Well, let's put everything else back on. And remember, we do have to put that... what do you call it? We've got to put that 2.2 that we lost. I'm blaming Pedro for the loss of that. Well, that was actually a little different to my usual one, so I'm quite happy about that. I'm more happy though that we found it, and it is interesting that that didn't really show up much, but I can understand why, because Actually, no, I can't understand why. I suppose because the, what do you call it, the USB-C wasn't really letting anything in. It didn't really get any energy to... Okay. Now, of course, I am a little mad with myself because right at the start I did say I should be checking 3v3, and I didn't. I just sort of went chasing what I thought was going to be a signature fault due to corrosion and dust, and I was wrong. Yeah, that's right, Andrew. I need a 2.2 for the other, for the one that I lost. We'll get to it just now. Or are you referring to the one that I just... yeah, so this one here. Where the hell did I put my schematic? Yeah. So it's a 2.235. What the hell? Honestly, you could use a 25 for that one, but that's a bit of a high spec cap. I actually should have it on one of my donor boards, because I know previously that I have actually not touched that area at all. So it should be, yep, there it is. Microscope. Hey GD Tech. Yeah, so I knew I've never encountered one of those, this particular type of fault before. So I knew that this donor board, which has been stripped of a lot of things, would still have this one. And we just need to prep that with some leaded. This is actually a good example of why sometimes schematics can be a little bit misleading. I mean, not intentionally, but just simply the way that we sort of write them. When you looked at that initial input after the diode going into the regulator for the 3v3 section, you could be mistaken for thinking that that's the only area that uses that rail. And you're like, okay, well, we've got two caps before it gets to the regulator, and that should be it. But then when you do look at where all the other places where that rail is used, all of a sudden it shows up on U7000, it shows down here, and so yeah, you can get caught out a bit like that. And I've got to admit, that is why I like the accidental feature I put in with the network lines. So when you click on a network, it shoots off, and flippity flip, someone's stolen them all already. Alright, so we're going to have to find a... Wait, I think I just found it. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's our cap. I just found it. I suppose we should really actually get a proper replacement, because we don't know if what I've done to it now. So we'll search for a replacement. So what is it, 2.2? 35 volts. Look, what size was it? 402. Huh, iPhone 7's got them. iPhone 6S has them, maybe. Not surprised the iPhones have them, though 35 volts is a little weird. Not sure how they're getting that. Oh goody, 840's got them. Alright, we can stop the search. Hopefully it's legit. And not some, yeah... Yes, you are legit. Oh, thank you so much, and there's a whole bunch of them. Looks like it's actually the same section. Nope, you're a 1598 bullet. Up by the CPU. I'll just get my bearings first. Dooby-dooby-doo. Don't tell me you're all a bunch of no stuffs. I feel like I've got the wrong board. Nope. It wasn't the wrong board I had, it was the wrong orientation. Okay. So it's one of these ones here. There's black junk squeezing out from under there. Come on, man, get off. Oh, nearly damaged my micro pencil then. That's obviously ground on that side because it's being reluctant. That's okay. It's all good. Nothing hot air can't solve. Evening one way. Next week is going to be exceedingly busy too. It may be busy to the point where I won't be able to stream. I know it sounds a little bit strange, but depending on the type of jobs I'm dealing with, I may not have the opportunity. Okay, Paul, you have to sort the new phone. You're welcome. Good luck with the phone. Okay, let's see if we have a win. We've got our culprits over here. Five volts, 0. It's even worse now. Wow, seriously, I've got 5 volts and 0. So it's actually worse. Did that cap I put on there, did that make it worse? I can't believe that. Okay, let's check to see what our voltages are. Okay. Could it be that something, when that blew, it took out a bunch of other stuff? 2.24, so we actually still have more problems on there. 2.24. So it's possible it damaged that, or it damaged the feedback, or something. Well, we definitely don't have a short there anymore, so the input supply should be fine. But something in, I'd say, given the short, it probably damaged the chip. I will check the resistors though, the feedback resistors, because they could also have a problem. So yeah, if we're only getting 2 point whatever volts, we either have a higher than expected load on the output, or our feedback network's wrong. So if you have a look at our feedback, we've got 115k, and then we've got this combination here. The resistor to the left of the coil, left pad, looks like it's been damaged. I'll have a look at that. No, that's actually, I know what you're talking about, but that is actually a manufacturing style. You're talking about this one here, how it's got notched parts out of it. That's not going to be it. I would sooner say that this here is actually faulty, but I will check the resistors first. So 6910 is this middle one, and we do have to actually remove them, or put them down onto one leg. It all looks good there. We're just going to test these one by one. So this one is supposed to be 115k. And yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty much on the mark. I'll get to the other parts just now. First want to check these resistors, then I'll focus on the other stuff. Okay, 6911 is the one below it, and it's supposed to be a 47k. They will be a little out of whack from the heat, because resistors obviously do have a thermal coefficient. 46.9, that's pretty much good. And the last one down here, I probably actually can test that in circuit, and that should be 1.47. And 1.47 it is. There's one other to go, that's 6912, which is the very top. I might be able to test that as well, because anyway, that should be 10 ohms. Yeah, that's 10 ohms. Let's check that cap is not. Cap's good too. Alright, so our resistors are all good. I'm gonna start put money on it being the controller. But let's have a look. Can't see your multimeter. Really? It's up here. The 10 ohm moved. 10 ohm's fine. The 10 ohm's that one there. What do you mean by it moved? Is that dirt on the large blue color resistor to the right of the chip? I don't have... You talking about this? Yeah, it's just dirt, and that's a cap. Seriously, is that multimeter software not showing up? Because it should be. Right. Yeah, that's showing up here. When you put the multimeter, the left side moved. It looks pretty damn sturdy here. I think it's pretty good. No, I'm gonna go for it being the controller. I mean, I could be wrong, but statistically it's more likely given a high current situation. Yeah, I know there's a bridge. Stick, Christian. A stick. What is curious is the it looks like the EMP pulse out of the extractor unit when I shut it off upsets the communications occasionally. Well, let's see how we go now. Five. Wow, we still don't have it. I'm wondering if the ISL is a problem now. Man, this is turning into a nuisance. It's going to pull the ISL and see if we... Actually, you know what? If we're only getting... Let's see, so I'm just checking the schematic, see what else I might be... I. Hmm. We do have an enable, like I said, we're getting now 2.4 volts or whatever. The possibility that I'm thinking is also there could be something wrong with this boost circuit. If that's not working, then the MOSFET can't power up, produce the gate drive that it needs. Yeah, so the chip might have been okay too. Fortunately, that's why I keep them over here. And I'm just going to put it into there along with the caps and a speck of dirt, I suspect, but I'm still putting it in there. Okay. Better not be the SMC pulling it down, that'll be most annoying. Well, I suppose at this point we might be able to see if we can get any sort of indication coming off with the gym cam. Since it's been pulled down, or at least we think it is, but it doesn't show up with a static resistance, so that's why I'm thinking it might be the ISL. And of course the joyous thing here is that we are going to be fighting the excess heat generated from all the hot air. That's okay. Sometimes the flashy of the pulsars still manages to. Oh wow, we're actually. Oh no, there we go. Let's have a look at the 3V42 area. I am going to need to thermally block this. That's a nuisance. The CPU looks like it's hot, but it's not actually. It's just because it's relative. Because we were running that hot air over the board, it tends to get sucked into the heat sink there. No, nothing clear. Nothing at all. So we're just going to have to keep investigating. You watch this turn into a case where it's a dead CPU. It better not be. Like I said, it's kind of strange we're being pulled down to 2.2 volts. Something's dragging us down, but I don't know what. Whatever it is quite small. 4 volts. Okay, so 4 volts there, and we've got there 5.196. Less than 4. Okay, that's a little bit too much of a drop across that diode. So I'm going to replace the diode. It could be, if there was a short, the diode took... Well, yeah, it actually makes sense. The diode would take quite a hit. We also should check that resistor there. I don't know what type of diodes these are. I don't know if they're Schottky diodes, in which case I should be like 0.3, 0.4. But even if they were standard silicon diodes, it shouldn't be more than 0.6. And in fact, it should be less than that because of the fact that that 0.6 is typically under, a reasonable amount of current flow. As your current flow approaches 0 on a diode, it tends to... the voltage forward drop tends to go to 0 as well. Okay, and we'll check that resistor as well, because it probably took a bit of a hit. And... 6902, so that should be a 0 ohm resistor. And see how close to 0 we are. Point 4, yeah, okay, we're good there, that's not a problem. What you're seeing there is mostly just lead resistance, which I cannot for the life of me understand why you can't zero out lead resistance on a modern day multimeter, a digital multimeter. If anyone knows the answer to that, I'd love to know, because with the old analog meters, you could join the tips together and then just, adjust your moving meter needle so that you're back to 0. But on digital multimeters, you can't seem to be able to do that. I don't know why. Oh, that's terrible joints. They are cold as the Antarctic. Except my 287 Fluke has it, but it's stupid expensive. Yeah, well, it just seems to be a fundamental thing that meters should have. Okay, so far we've got the diodes, we've got the cap, we've got the regulator. Let's see how we go now. Yes, 20 volts. Alright, so the cap blew. I would say it probably did damage that controller as well, and even if it's not a... what do you call it? Even if it wasn't sort of like seemingly damaged, I would dare say it would exhibit the properties of damage soon enough. So yeah, there was a diode that took the secondary hit in that case. Oh, thank goodness for that. That's probably one of the more complicated ones we've had in a while, in terms of having to use my brain. My wife is, Elita is walking around the yard, and I'm just not sure whether it's due to something happening or whether it's just her checking on things. What is the time? 11:30. Now, let's see if this actually works when I plug it in to the chassis. Unfortunately, that took a little longer than I wanted. How long are we going for now? It just feels, yeah, an hour and 42. Oh my god. Oh, my wife is terrible. Oh, she must have known I was looking around, and and then I look back up, and she's doing a horror face in the window. Scared me. I was like, "Sweet Bridget, my wife has turned into a zombie." Okay. Teresa, no, nothing like that. Just genuine, wholesome, scared the daylights out of me by showing her face in the window with a... Yeah, you don't expect to see people up against your window like that. Especially considering that the property is fenced off quite well. So it's concerning also when the kitty cats start running around like, there's a human, there's a human, there's a human. You're like, oh great. Did they get inside the perimeter or what? Oh great. I left a wire under there. She has a good sense of humour. Yeah, sure. The universe does not, however. Forcing me to have to do this. One freaking wire. There is no way for me to get that free without pretty much going the whole hog. Stupid Wi-Fi wire. At least I spotted it, rather than powering it up with that nice metal coaxial crimp in the end, shorting out goodness knows what on the board. Then it would have been like, yay, it's booting, and then you just hear this and I'll be like, nope, end of the life for me. Alright, that might be enough for us to boot, we'll see. Try and avoid putting the battery in it. I'm glad my feeling of it not being a Thunderbolt ROM was right. Still, we don't know if this machine even works yet, so we'll, drawing a bunch of current doesn't mean anything. I've got very dead shorted internal boards that do that. Okay, we do not have fan spin at this point. Oh wait, looks like we're alive. Yep, there we go. All good. Shut you down. So that's fixed. Huzzah. That's kind of one for the books. Sarah, the 3D effect compared to the camera, what are you talking about? Let's see. Yeah, that was actually one that wasn't a janitor job. But it's interesting to note that in most situations, janitor style fixes are what I do. This being a go through the schematic type thing, that's pretty rare. 1252. Oh, you're talking about your new microscope. Oh, very good. What sort did you get? One of these kind of ones or something else? C7081 shorted. D6902, D6902 damaged. Replaced. I'm also going to note that 6903, use 6903 likely damaged due to short from C7081 replaced. Oh, okay, so it is the same as what I've got basically. Does yours have a metal head or a plastic one? 555, yeah, it's just a cherry blue. They're okay, but they're still not really a replacement for the true mechanical, of course, being the IBM M with the buckling springs. I can get buckling spring keyboards, but I can't really justify the $300-400 it's going to cost me because it's got to be shipped in from the US from Unicomp keyboards. It's just a bit much for me to bring across. I would love one, but for now the cherry blue will have to do. Okay. So what do we got here? Flickering between normal display but no backlight and no display at all. Liquid detecting the LCD is active. Found some corrosion around the area. Let's see, 1251. Found the corrosion around the LCD port. Cleaned off the surface corrosion but made no change. Oh, great. Yeah, someone cleaned it. That's okay. That's okay. I am accepting of such attempts. I get it. I think what it is that they want to try and fix most of the machines they can at the business before having to send to me, because as soon as you send it to me, just in postage alone, that's a bit of expense and time. Telling the customer that it's got to be sent off. Customers don't like that sort of stuff. I can't blame them. So naturally, of course, they try their best to resolve it on site, but no such luck this time. But at least they told me where they had done the cleaning, and that's what matters. Poink. Okay. So we've got a 34, 37. Okay, let's get this out. CR Crafts, thank you for being here. John, look at my message. What? Mass shooting in New York City subway. Oh jeez. Mass shootings anywhere. I'm not in New York City, by the way. I'm in Australia, of course, but yeah, that's of course going to galvanize Lewis's idea, of course, that New York is just shit. There's always someone that's going to lose their head. A subway of all places. Crowded time. Anyway, I guess I'll find out when I check the news after all this. One, 2, 5, 1. So let's see, hopefully this will be janitorial. Used up all my brain for tonight. Off hours. Oh, thank you very much for that. Hopefully I can reward your participation with something interesting. Although we did just have one of those. An actual genuine thinky one. To be fair, it wasn't a hard thinky one. Like, it didn't involve a lot of steps, but it did require a little bit of, well, a little bit more than just the janitorial thing. I guess since I've said there's already liquid damage around here, yeah, you can see the marker's gone red there. I will simply take this board out. Being a 3437/165 type situation, 1466, it's no drama at all. Easy peasy boards. More than happy to work on these most days. And the best thing is, if one defeats you, most of us have got a good stock of spares. So you transfer the serial number, and away you go with a new one. Hi, Branches. By the way, if you watch some of Lewis's videos and all that, you'll notice he does this like flick sort of thing with the screwdriver. It's not really a quirk or anything, it's just a case of you get a lot more rotations per effort when you do that. So you use the larger part to torque out, to break the braking torque, and then you spin it with these fingers to get it to come out the rest of the way really quickly. So it's not like we're trying to be Ponzi or anything like with a cup of tea or anything like that. No, definitely not like that. I say it's just simply a case of we're wanting to go faster. Mercia, you might want to talk to Pedro about that whole hobby thing, because believe me, it does not stay a hobby. I don't know too many people who have repaired MacBooks as a hobby who don't end up becoming addicted to it and needing to get their fix every week. Pedro is a poster child for that. I remember he was just like, oh, I just want to try something, just do a quick easy job once off. And now he basically spends his whole life checking the for sale ads, eBay, places like that, desperately looking for his next fix. Yeah, this is almost a wipe and start again, probably. Oh, yucky yuck. Yep, that needs to be replaced. Hopefully we still have some continuity for the, what do you call it, the feedback. So we don't have to run a while. Oh, that's close. Got lots of eyelashes in here. Surprising number of eyelashes. Yeah, I'm amazed this thing was even working. That's gone. We've got corrosion here by the Allsys power good area and whatnot. This is going to be fun. And it's a 1.44. So realistically, if I was genuinely a professional business, I would just simply go, okay, this is a 1.44. I'd take this board, migrate the serial number to one of my spares, and that's it, job done in less than an hour. But instead, I'm a sucker for entertaining, and so I'm going to fix this. Yeah, ultrasonic's going to do something to it, but it's not going to fix this one. Pedro, you're not retired. You're years away from retirement. The government says you don't get to retire until you're, what was it, 69 and a half or something? No, 66 and a half, that's right. Uh, people are paying out on you, Pedro. Pedro doesn't have happy customers. He has bewildered victims. These backlight chips are surprisingly hungry for heat to get off. You got to be careful if you've got one that's got corrosion and junk under it and you sort of slowly try to twist it off. You got to be careful that you don't rip pads out just from the corrosion maybe forming like cement, concrete rather. Hey, nuts and proud. How old is Pedro? He is, yeah, that old. I don't know, I think he's 65 or something. It's hard to tell. He behaves like a 14-year-old. That's about the best I know. I'm glad to see that there are oldish people around here, or people who are, you know, in their 40s and such. 40s, 50s, 60s. Ah, come on. I'm just a bit worried there's... Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I could see there was a bit of corrosion on the... what do you call it? The coating. So just sort of get that out of the way, because we can just UV coat that later. The stuff that's been damaged, it just flakes off like that. If it doesn't flake off, then it's not probably damaged. I feel like I'm about middle of the pack when it comes to age around here with everybody else. That's just... nah. Flux blob fell off. Oh well. Sometimes I just find putting down this chip to be a colossal PITA. Alright, so that's the backlight driver done. We've got to replace this chip. Not 100% sure, to be honest, what that is, but it's certainly in need of help. So we shall help it. That's some gnarliness right there. Hopefully we don't have any damaged traces. And it is out of there. Well, don't know where that one went. Yeah, the progressive pains as you get older, that's the fun part. And especially when you find that you're subconsciously you're sort of compensating for that. Like you get out of bed slower, you just do everything slower, you walk through the kitchen or whatever slower. And it just seems to be this slow thing that just takes over the way you move. Like I feel like I hobble a hell of a lot more than I ever used to. Makes me thankful that I knocked down the wall in the kitchen, so now at least I can feel a little freer in there. I'm not so scared about bumping into things. All this area here is damaged. Yeah, branches, the whole eyesight thing isn't much better either. See how I just push down on that and it just flakes off. If you don't fix that up, it will come back and mess the job up in the future. It's in here too. Doesn't seem to be as bad. But I can definitely see it. I think I have to get this blob off first. It was a pretty big mess. Crap. I'm going to put down the replacement chip at this point. Let's find ourselves a 3437. Branches, there's not very much elegant about it. Hey, what the? Someone just... Well, there was the part I was right there where that drill hole is. Okay, I guess we won't be using that board. Yeah, and there's our part. What's this? Could you send me the name? Send the name to Paul Daniels to pass along to you. Whoa, what name are we talking about here? Oh, the big hole is how they disable the boards so they can be sold as donor boards with Apple's blessing, as it were. Come on, hurry up. Thank you. Oh, I hate it when that happens. It's like an instant freeze. Nicholas, just for me to understand, do you always clean first all the nasty stuff and then troubleshoot, or it is situationally dependent? Like, I'd certainly, very rarely would I ultrasonic a board prior to fixing it. Most of the time, because you need to see the damage in order to know where the faults are, like this sort of thing. That there is actually probably not going to... Yeah, okay, it's eaten a test pad away, but that should be okay. That there is a washable bit of damage, liquid junk or whatever. It's just one of those subjective type things, but certainly washing a board outright with the ultrasonic cleaner prior to trying to fix it is pretty much a disaster, because you lose too much of... Well, you lose too many clues as to where your issues may lie. I mean, it's fine if you already know what the fault is, that you actually have found the fault and proven that it works. About the only... Okay, I can see I've got damage here. Okay, so we're going to have to replace this connector here. It's fun sucking up my time. Sucking up my time with a flippin' VD... Oh, yeah. LVDS connector. So there's a lot of junk around here as well, but most of that can be washed off. What is interesting is sometimes you actually do wash off a board because you're fairly sure that all the residual junk that's on it is actually the cause of the problem. Like it's causing some kind of signal uh, crosstalks, or yeah, it's just causing signal issues. But it doesn't happen that often. Usually if it's more of a widespread liquid damage as opposed to in one area. I'm not a brutalist when it comes to removing these connectors. I do like to use them as practice for trying to remove connectors without having to, if I want to, like the next one if I don't have one spare and I want to take it from another board, then I want to be able to have the technique for lifting it without damaging it. So every time you take one of those off, it's an opportunity to gain that experience. Low voltage differential signaling is what it is. Basically means you send the normal signal and then you send a mirror of it concurrently, and then at the other end you have a specially designed receiver, and it takes those two signals, and that allows you to eliminate any noise that occurred on the line, because the noise will be replicated equally on both sides as opposed to being mirrored. And so that's why they do differential pairs. Differential pair signaling is such a vital technique that we have. Without it, it would be very difficult to get the speeds that we do nowadays. Oh, really, Jason? Oh, interesting. I know when you'd see Lewis doing them, at that point I was like, man, this is going to be interesting. But after a while, you do get used to it. Oh, not going to achieve much at 250 centigrade. Trouble is, I've already sullied up my wick, so yeah, they're nice and flat. There's a little bit of damage there, but it's not too bad. We've still got a pretty good connection on that backlight pins. Pin 17 is broken. Which one's 17? It's not broken. It's an NC. Actually, it's not. It's a ground. Let's see. LVDS. Unfortunately, AliExpress continues to send me lies with the LVDS connectors. And let's see. Okay, that's fine. These ones do not have the physical keying pin that should have on these. These are actually really meant for the LCD side. But even when you order them, supposedly with that keying pin, they turn up without the keying pin. So, unfortunately, it means it's a smidge weaker, and you've got to manually kind of get things right yourself. But that's okay. We have a technique for making it factory-like. It's all good. So the first thing you do is make sure you don't put too much solder down. You're not even tacking it. You're just getting frustrated with it. That's what you're doing. Come on. I just want a blob on the... Okay, that's all I need actually. Get it into position. Switch to 250. Stick a bit of flux down. You bastard, you stole it from me. I jumped in too soon. There we go. Try again. There's way too much solder there, but that's okay. Now the question is, do I try to meddle with it? It's within tolerable alignment right now, but I feel compelled to meddle with it because it's just fractionally low, ever so fractionally low compared to what I want. But you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. Yeah, I'm going to take that. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Okay. And again, we just do the tack. For God's sake, Paul, you're doing terrible tonight. Do note, you are not supposed to actually put the solder on the connector like that. That is just despicable. So we'll try and draw it away. Huzzah, finally. Right, that's what you want. That's sort of kind of like a good welding fillet instead of this random bird shit blob fillet. I'm just going to draw away the excess. Okay, that's good enough. That took way longer than it needed to. I apologise for that. Alright, now technically you're supposed to do pin by pin, but I prefer to do a wave solder. The trick though is that if you drag your tip on the pins going left and right like that, you will put them way out of alignment. That looks pretty good. And of course we've got these two little tabs here. Pretty similar technique to the big tabs. If I could actually do it. Oh my goodness. And yep, F that up. The reason why it does this is because the board is cold, because I'm not using the assist. As soon as I bring in the hot air assist, they go good. There we go. There's a secondary whistle somewhere and it's peeving me off badly. Not my best, but fairly happy. Go through and check the pins individually. Try not to hit them too hard, just enough to see if they'll flex out of the way, giving you an indication that they're not connected. It's a little bit of a boring process, but it's better you do it now. Okay, we're all good. Okay, let's flush this out. Because if those pins are not connected and you do this, yeah, no, I have to do the whole thing again. Okay, but this area here, we've got a bit of whatever it was that spilled on here, so we're going to use some 80-20. That's 80% IPA, 20% water, or distilled water. And it's just going to help lift up that trash. The only cap of concern is that tiny little noise filter cap. So we'll swap that out. That was 100% IPA or 99.98, whatever you can get. You can't actually really get 100% IPA, not commercially. And if you could get 100% IPA, I'm not sure you'd want to use it. I'm kind of curious what reaction it would have as soon as you expose it to any kind of moisture. Probably not a lot. See you later, Warren. Yeah, if I can get this running, then I'm done for tonight too. So I'm genuinely hoping I do not have a broken trace. This is a donor board. If you are starting out with repairs and hot air and whatnot, one of the skills you really want to be able to depend on is the ability to grab one of these parts and hold it without looking at it and move around your workshop. You need to be able to hold on to those parts without putting too much pressure that they flick out or anything like that. Because as you move them between the boards, it goes out of your vision. So you have to do it by feel. You'll lose a few initially, but it's definitely an important skill to have. Alright, I just need to see if we actually got a functional fuse. We do. Okay. Obviously I think the board still was kind of booting. So we'll check that initially and then we'll plug it into the screen and see if we get what we want. Okay, so 3437, so it should shut down, come back, shut down, come back. Okay, and now it should come back and hopefully we'll get green blinks. Yep, okay, so the board CPU is functioning at least. Now we have to see if we have correctly fixed that backlight area. I'm using the customer's board chassis as well because I want to be able to verify that the display is not affected, because the liquid damage did come in from that area by the looks of it. So it's entirely possible that the cable could be problematic too. Not going to bother with the fan in this instance. Come on, in you go. There you go. Good job. And we're not going to bother with Wi-Fi. We will put the audio speaker in. Okay, and hopefully we got most of that flux out of that connector. That's why we had to scrub it out. Okay. Get our test stick. Being a 3437, I could actually run MRI instead of that boot stick that I use for myself. Okay, so current looks good, 700. Display has not yet energized. Oh yeah, that's right, because it's doing the stop start crap. There we go, now it's energized. There we go. At least you can get IPA still these days. I mean, remember with the height of COVID, it was almost impossible to get anything IPA, ethanol, anything. It was nearly impossible. Miles, I did have a look at the connector when I was handling it just before, and it looked good. Oh, my CNC is apparently taking off from wherever it's loaded on a plane. Oh wow, that is cool. Very bad, but that is interesting. Hmm. Flicky flicky. That's interesting. I would say that's probably current sense or something going crazy there. That's different. Yeah. Alright, let's try one of my chassis. And if it does the same in one of my chassis, then yeah, I can only imagine maybe the sense resistors are playing up, but that would have to be all of them. So maybe the MOSFET for the boost. Yeah, could be a couple of things. Alright, let's try my display. Let's see if it does the same. Just tell them to blink really quickly. Well, the trouble is if they get out of sync, then they'll complain that the screen doesn't work at all. I could have used my cable extension to test it, but that's okay. Interesting though that it only started happening once it switched over into the brighter mode. So I have a feeling that maybe one of the capacitors has an issue, or the coil. I would say maybe the coil has a short in it. We'll find out. If it does it on this, then I would say it's either coil or capacitor problem. Now, why would Paul be all up on my business tonight? Well, the reason why I'm sort of thinking coil or cap is because when it's at like this, it's only partial brightness, but when it gets to the final stages of booting on this, it goes to full brightness. Using a micro pencil to solder LV8S. What is wrong with that? Use micro pencil for everything. Use it for soldering 50 amp connectors if I want. With lots and lots of... it's a screen fault. Okay, well, we will double confirm it by plugging it back in and seeing if it does again. Yeah, that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun because if the customer is given the option of like, well, your screen's jacked, you're going to have to get a new screen and that's going to be $300 more or whatever, they're going to go, oh hell no, that computer ain't worth it. I was only going to get it if it was just the main board. Why didn't you tell me before you fixed it? And you're like, yep, here we go again. Maybe they'll be hippies. What? Why would hippies be okay with that? I don't understand that. You people have very strange standards. Okay. The other possibility is that maybe I just cleared out the right amount of flux from that connector and all of a sudden it's all good now. That's why you got to go back and forth. You can't just sort of do one test and say, yep, it's all done. You got to test the testing. You take the bezel off, plug light caps into the ribbon cable. In front of that is 2 caps. Oh, okay. Well, they've already dented their bezels and yeah. I will proposition that to them if it comes to that. Tell them to plug a monitor in. You guys really have terrible suggestions. Ah man, 12:30. I'm dying to get. I'm gonna really quickly finish this off because I want to go get a toasted sandwich. You know how I love my toasted sandwiches. They've gotten me through a lot of things in life. Hunger, eating, nutrition, stopping myself from saying dumb things by stuffing my craw with the toasty. Very helpful. Yep, there it goes. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be ham and cheese. Yeah. That's interesting. That just fixed up there. Smack it around a bit. Give it some Will Smith. Well, that is not the colour my screen is supposed to. That is not the colour. Yeah. Yep, that's yeah, that wasn't good. It's not supposed to do that. It's completely dead now. Yeah, the screen's de-energized and everything. Alright. I can also feel it's got sloppy hinges too. Let's see if it comes back. So it's re-energized. Yeah, okay, screen's definitely cactus. Great! So I'm probably going to lose my money on that one if they don't go for a screen replacement or something. Every now and then you do have this situation, and it can be a little hard on your ethics because you kind of think, right, well, I fixed this board, and since they're not going to be using the machine, I think I will take this board, add it to my queue, and I'll stuff a dead board in there instead. Because you just can't do that. You want to do it because you want your due reward for the effort you put in, but you can't do that. At least, certainly not on when you're being recorded on YouTube. So, alright, that's it for tonight. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time. That'll probably be tomorrow because there is a whole bunch of stuff coming in. I am going to be flat chat throughout this Easter holiday, so it'll give you something to watch while you moan at the people who shut down everything on Good Friday and then shut down everything on Zombie Jesus Day. So I'll be around. You all take care. I'll see you next time.